Hey everyone, today we're going to start our series on. Hey everybody, my name is Sean. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode with Sean, your sports dietitian. Today we're going to be starting our series on pre-activity fueling. I really love this slide because it gives a good representation, something we can all relate with, which is a fuel gauge. Anytime you can think about your day, one thing I want you to just sit here and visualize, is there certain parts of your day where you're tired, exhausted, or you don't have energy? And if you can answer yes to that, the next thing you have to ask yourself is, am I getting enough sleep? At least 8 to 10 hours, because an athlete needs a ton of time for their body to recover from all the physical and mental stress they deal with. Two, are you eating frequently every 2 to 4 hours? Are you getting your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner? Are you getting your snacks in between your breakfast and lunch, your lunch and dinner, and then after your dinner time? If we're not frequently fueling our body, right? If you think of your body like a car, like we have these fuel gauges here, right? If we're getting consistent energy or consistent fuel with your meals and snacks, right, that energy level is going to be consistent throughout the day. If there's periods of time where you're going too long without food, or if there's periods of time where you're missing specific meals or not eating after especially long bouts of training or activity, or just long bouts of time during the day, you're probably going to have that big dip and you're going to have that crash. But the first thing where I always tell everybody when it comes to, you know, pre-activity, activity is going to depend on what part of your day you're going to have it. Some athletes might have it in the morning. Some athletes might have it in the evening time. Some athletes might have a training session in the morning and the evening. The current place that I work with right now, we start our training at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we have a weightlifting session, we have individual sessions, they flip flop, and that's a 2 hour session right there. So that's where, again, starting with this slide, you make the choice every single morning whether you're going to be picture A to the left or whether you're going to be picture A or picture B to the right. Are you going to go into that training session that's going to be 2 hours with an empty fuel tank, feeling tired, exhausted, no energy, headache, body language looks terrible because you're tired and you're just trying to scrape yourself through the workout? Or are you going to appropriately, one, sleep, getting enough sleep 8 to 10 hours before the training session, and then two, are you going to put yourself in a position where I'm getting up in time to go eat breakfast, eating foods that aren't going to negatively affect me because I'm eating too close to practice, but that are going to get my fuel tank topped off, so that way when I go into that 2 hour training bout, whether it's with the lift and the individual work, I should be feeling fantastic during that whole entire 2 hours, right? I should be able to give 100% through that whole entire 2 hours because I got enough sleep. I woke up at a good time. I got a good, consistent performance plate with all the necessary nutrients and things that I need leading into that training, which is allowing me to get the most out of the training, right? We can talk about giving 100%. We could talk about being locked in. We can talk about we always give our best at our training session, but are you really? Are you really doing the things that you need to make sure you're getting the most out of that? Because if you're going into that session with your fuel tank a quarter full or empty, you're probably really only giving maybe 25%, 50%, right? You're at a high risk for injury because your muscles don't have the fuel it needs, so it needs to go somewhere else to get it. And typically that ends up being your muscle mass. Now we're using your muscle as energy. If we're using your muscle as energy, now we're losing muscle mass. And on top of already breaking down muscle mass from the actual physical activity that you're doing. So now it's becoming counterproductive and we're having a negative consequence from it. We're losing muscle. We're not getting a good response out of the training that we're doing. We're not getting the most out of it. And then probably what's going to happen too is if your body language is off, if you're not in a good mood, right? If you're dogging it because you're tired and exhausted, your coach is probably going to get on you too, right? Your strength coach is probably going to get on you. And then you're sitting there like, man, why are they always on me all the time? Why are they always giving me a hard time? I just don't feel great today. Like, why are they always dogging me? Because you're in control of the choices that you make. So that's what I want you to think about going into tomorrow. If you're not doing it already, are you going to come in with a full tank of gas, ready to go to give 100%? Or you're going to keep making the poor choices, not feeling up, not getting good sleep, going into that activity session, and that's going to lead you to high risk for getting hurt, high risk for getting sick, or just plain out not being able to participate or train at the level that you need to, that's expected out of the people that you're specifically working with in your environment. Again, if you guys need help with your eating, your sleep, your hydration, again, that's the big three that I always like to talk about and go towards. You spend 10 to 15 hours doing those things every single week, every single day. Go ahead and hit me up below. My contact information is there. I have lots of different nutrition services that I can offer to get you to your next level. I hope you learned something today and this helped. And stay tuned for our continued series on pre-activity fueling. And that's going to coincide a little bit with breakfast as well, because a lot of time breakfast is what's going to start your day. And breakfast, if you have a training session tomorrow, is what's going to lead to that. Appreciate y'all.